little market update broadcast of the year. We're going to try to keep this one fairly short just because it's 1st of January. There's not a whole lot happening right now. Next week, hopefully, we'll be able to do kind of the year wrap up for what happened in Portland. And Jeannie and I are probably going to do a kind of a year in review broadcast. So next Monday, I think it's going to be kind of the fun one to watch. So also, if you try Jeannie personally, she had a late night last night and an early morning today. So I'm going to try and talk a little quietly and wrap this up quickly because she's taking a cat nap. All right, so let's just jump right in on this soggy Monday morning. So, like I always like to start off with the whole, hey Jeff, how's the market? Well, let's kind of look back. This is kind of wrapping up through the end of the year. So the lockbox activity, that's every time Gene and I go show a house, we open the door, registers as a hit. These percentage changes, this is sort of week over week. So big surprise, 43% decline. Apparently people don't want to go see houses leading up to New Year's Eve right after Christmas. So surprise value is 0. If you look back kind of towards the left edge of that graph, we're the same pace as last year. So not a big shock. It's seasonality kicks in. No, it was pretty slow and quiet last week, which was actually quite a nice change of pace. So meanwhile, across the river, up in the Washington side, same thing, down 42%. A little bit slightly below last year's pace, but same kind of thing. It's just the seasonality. Look to see that quick rebound popping back up here pretty quick as we get kind of ramped up into this next year. Once we kind of get past the kids shuffling back into school, like ours are downstairs back in class now, and people start off the new year, I think we're going to see this market take off like a brush fire. And apparently other people feel the same way because there's already articles popping out. Everyone's expecting this momentum that we've had through last year, which was just kind of a crazy market. Expecting to see that continue through this next year. And the big question really kind of keeps coming up as to why, right? And it's an easy one because the mortgage rates are the big thing, right? Mortgage rates are super low. So everybody knows, hey, it's relatively cheap to go buy a house, even though prices are exploding. My buying power is super cheap and easy. So that's the only reason, right? And that's part of it. I thought this graphic was genius, though, when this got put together. Kind of somebody did a visualization of the Bureau of Economic Analysis, basically looking at kind of what's been happening with the economy, saying, things are kind of going along okay, but why and where? So basically looking at, durable good purchases are exploding, right? It's all the home gyms, as they call out here, and other things people are buying because they need to make home work. So whether it's your gym equipment, you're buying office setup, you're buying whatever. People are still buying stuff over this past year, non-durable goods, just foods and everything else, right? So, but then you see the big trade-off now is the services industry collapses, right? So this is where you're seeing the unemployment claims and so forth because people aren't traveling, they're not going out to restaurants, they're not doing movie theaters, they're not doing all that kind of fun stuff. So that spending has tanked. But then also, you see the kind of, thanks to Powell, with interest rates dropping down so low, people aren't paying as much on interest payments on debt. I think I saw an article earlier today. We've got record levels of debt in the country, which, if you know me, as my finance side kicks in, when debt is this cheap, I'm a big fan of debt because why not? It's borderline free at this point. So you have all this, they're calling it frugality, but it's the reality of life, right? Because we can't travel and can't go do stuff. People aren't spending the money there, so they're spending it in other places. Big places they're spending it, cars and houses. So if you've tried to find a used car lately, it's pretty tough sledding. Same thing for houses. It's people are basically redeploying their funds into what really matters, and what they've learned over this past year is what really matters is where you hang your hat at night, especially if you have the option to work from home. So you've had all that fueling this increased push in demand, right? And so what happens? Prices are up 14-year high. So go back to 2006. So from the peak, it's our highest average prices on a national basis since then. Portland area, we've well recovered past that. I'm not going to share that chart today, but prices have exploded. But for that price just to continue on, we're not going to beat up inventory too much, but yeah, we're going to talk about it just for a second though. But yeah, prices are high, activity's high, mortgage rates are low, they're going to stay low. So look for all this activity to keep on rolling. Another word I thought that popped up, which is kind of good, is as it relates to inventory. There's just no way we don't talk about this. In 2020, it really declined because you had a lot of people who just didn't want to put their home on the market during a pandemic. Um, and so, the natural thought then is, okay, so this summer, once the vaccines roll out and everything else, and we hopefully not start getting our feet back underneath us, uh, all those people are going to start listing their houses. So the natural thought might be, okay, so we're going to have a flood of inventory. Is it going to cool prices? Is the bubble burst? And it's not. Because at the same time, you also have this huge cohort of buyers, and we talked about this, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. Flood of millennial buyers are just coming into their kind of hitting their stride for buying houses, and they are looking to buy houses, especially with mortgage rates this cheap. So yes, you're going to see more supply coming up. I think you've got more buyers that are. It's just gonna it'll cool the pace, but I think you're just going to see it just stay kind of crazy. Somebody had put together kind of an economic analysis, kind of looking at, you know, same kind of thing. For next year, is inventory going to pick up? Is it going to decline? And the basic crux of what he was saying is exactly that, which is basically he's guessing by middle of next year, latter part of this year, where it's January. So middle of this year, July, August kind of time frame. Look to see inventory picking up. That's probably going to be true on a national basis to an extent. I think I shared on here months ago that even if we had like a 20 or 40% increase in inventory, kind of showing what that would mean for us, and it helps, but it's not like we go from that 1 month of inventory to suddenly we got 7 months of inventory and the sky falls. I think we hit like 2.1 months or some craziness, and so we still say at a pretty stark drop in available homes. And this one's going to get a little bit nerdy. This is inventory going back to basically the start of the 2000s, 2002 at this point. So your red line is overall inventory on a national basis. Your blue line is your year-over-year change in mortgage or in inventory levels, right? So you can look at this either way you want. The red line, obviously, you see sort of the buildup leading into the Great Recession. Of course, the kids are going to choose now to print when we're going live. It's always something here, right? The blue line is that change over change. If you look at either case, it's a negative trend line from 2000 until now, or 2002 until now. So I just, again, I go back to the Portland area. I don't see how that gets any better. This has been a long-term sustained. We need a quiet printer. Sustained issue with inventory. So there you go. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're starting low. The activity is going to pick up later in the summer. We're going to buy a quiet printer at some point, or the kids are going to have to figure out their schedule for Mondays. Otherwise, the kind of the last couple of things I want to pick up on is, if you probably have seen some of these articles, you probably have heard some of this kind of discussion, but COVID has changed the real estate process, and there's certain changes that I think will just never go away. Hopefully, knock on wood, the face masks go away because I hate that part. And then face masks, hopefully that part goes away. But then things like that, pushing the need for high quality photos for all the listings. That's the obvious one, right? Room dimensions become more and more critical, and you'd be shocked how many agents just don't do that. If you know Jeannie and her level of professionalism, it's on every single room. You know how big that house is. 3D Matterports, that's little virtual tours. You see the kind of the video walkthrough, the little circles on the floor. You click the circle and you kind of move to that part of the house. Those are going to become critical, and that's never going to go away. The traditional, what you'll see a lot of virtual tours, and it's just basically a video tour, and most of those it's just an automated slideshow of the pictures of the house. Those suck. I hope those go away soon because it just doesn't do anything for you for the house. I think those virtual tours where you can truly walk through, or if it's a professionally done kind of video walkthrough of the house, or at least you kind of see the flow and the movement of the house. Those are pretty good as well. Gene and I, we've done a few just kind of on our own, kind of holding the eye, bouncing all around. And they're pretty bad quality, but hey, you know what? It gives you the idea of the walk through the house. So anything like that is absolutely going to help. So those are the important things. I've gone from the printer to now I get my kid texting me and calling me now to deliver the prints. The other big thing that showed up as sort of the things to come, and this one for some people might be a little bit surprising, is this push for people to buy a house sight unseen. And the initial reaction to that is there's just no way. I mean, you hear those stories every now and again. That's going to be a rare unicorn kind of a thing. And maybe at the same time, I had twins this past year do just that. One of them is about to close here in a couple of weeks, still sight unseen. Another client we closed in December. We're kind of doing that final walkthrough days before closing. And that was his first time seeing the property. So it happens. The circumstances are always a little crazy behind it, but again, if you've got the right photos, if you've got the video walkthroughs, if people are at least familiar with the neighborhoods, and I think in both cases, we're basically doing Zoom calls with me walking around the house, just showing people the house, moving around, opening things for them, giving them my thoughts. It works pretty good. So you'll see that somewhat. We'll see how often it is. I wouldn't be surprised that stays kind of more of a onesie twosie thing. But anyway, so there you go. I just want to wrap up one last thing. The Oregonian put this thing out. The Oregon cities with the most affordable homes, basically less cost and more living space. To some extent, a lot of the cities, a lot of the areas that were called out on that list are not surprising. It's areas that you would think it's going to be a lower priced area. Gresham was a little bit lower just because it's pretty affordable out there. Kind of surprising, St. Helens, Scappoose were not on this list, probably because they've just been blowing up lately. But the interesting one that I thought popped up on the list as one of the most affordable, I think it was the most affordable one on a price per square foot relative to the size of home you can get. I think it's sort of how they're caveating this one, is Salem, which does not surprise me. The Salem Keizer area. We've had a number of clients this past year buy houses down there. Yes, we do work in the Salem Keizer area. And the affordability, what you can get down there, some of the neighborhoods are fantastic. So I think you're going to see Salem and Keizer just blowing up that much more, especially for people who work either kind of downtown or southern half of the Portland metro area, who say they're okay doing that drive because it's I-5 as straight as an arrow between here and there. So it's a pretty easy long drive kind of thing. So there you go. That's it. So Salem, keep an eye on that one for property values blowing up. Otherwise, that's it for this week. So 12 minutes is not bad. So yeah, no inventory. It's gonna be a crazy market this year, and there you go. Hope you guys all had a fantastic Christmas. Hope you had a very safe, somewhat festive New Year's Eve. I hope it stops raining soon. I'm kind of tired of this. I'll take some snow days at this point anytime. But anyways, be safe, be good, and hopefully we'll be talking to you soon. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out. Love to talk to you. Take care.